occasionally in movies, as well as life, we see a second attempt at making a decent first impression and wiping the slate clean. And other times it's just an excuse to hold on to the rights just to make money. Where did you spring from? And you kind of look familiar. Dude, I'm your retro version. I looked like that in 2003? No, I'm just younger and better looking than you. Well, since this is retro versus modern, how about we review these movies together? You mean we review the Hulk with daddy issues and the much better one from 2008? He did not have daddy issues.
He was merely dealing with a distant and coldly neglecting father who passed on his genetic code by experimenting on himself and left him with negative repressed memories of his father.
Dude, how are those not daddy issues? Okay, fair point. Shall we just review these movies? Finally!
The 2003 Hulk did heavily build up Bruce Banner's story from conception, infancy, adolescence to present day. While it was good to understand and sympathise with the character, maybe a quicker pacing would have been more satisfactory, as it took far too long just to get to the first Hulk out. The 2008 movie did that in the opening credits, practically reenacting the TV series pilot episode. While that's true, I did like how the characters were built up and they all have their own individual dynamics. Bruce is depressed and trying to find answers to questions that can't be answered about his past. Betty cares deeply for Bruce but can't connect properly with him. Talbot is in it for the money. True, Thunderbolt Ross was extremely competent as an army general and is no nonsense and just goes direct with Bruce, as can be seen here.
High-ranking general.
Let's cut the crap. I'm the guy who had your father tossed away, and a lot more like him, and I'll do the same with you if I feel so disposed, you understand?
If you had him tossed away, then why are you asking me? I don't remember. I was always told my father was dead.
Don't play with me!
But the rest of the movie is just depressing, with the pacing only picking up when Bruce would Hulk out. The 2008 version was practically echoing the Bill Bixby series with Banner on the run, helping people with their problems whilst dealing with his affliction.
That series was awesome. Yes, it was.
The movie itself felt like a rollerball in that even when there weren't action or Hulk scenes, the momentum was constantly turning and kept the pace fluid and interesting. Even when there are scenes when Bruce is contemplating what has happened and what will happen, it's just interesting to see how he handles these everyday dilemmas, and that's where you have more sympathy for what most consider to be Bixby reincarnated as opposed to Hulk sad and thinks Daddy is mean.
Don't go there, dude! Just calling it.
What's also good is that there are moments of humour and being able to see the Easter eggs that you have to know what it's referencing and being faithful and respectful to its source material.
I will admit that was a nice touch, but in the same respect, if I was given purple trousers to wear, I'd reject them too. Yeah, okay, I will agree on that one.
So what we have with the writing for 2008 is vastly superior, fun, and enjoyable, and a nice setup for a sequel. So, The Incredible Hulk wins this round.
With this category, it's a really mixed bag. How so? Well, there's good and bad in both. Oh. When comparing both Hulk movies, you'll find some actors' performances are better than others, and vice versa. For example,
if you look at the role of Betty Ross, you'll find that Jennifer Connelly is really invested in the role and actually conveys the emotion properly for both Bruce and the Hulk, while Liv Tyler just doesn't seem to take it seriously enough. Jennifer really shows concern and sadness for what Bruce is going through, while Liv Tyler is like a deer in the headlights.
Huh, I didn't realise she went to the Kirsten Dunst School of Acting. I didn't know one was open. Swish!
Edward Norton is really competent in the sense of he keeps moving forward rather than wallowing in a state of self-pity. I mean, sure, he wants to cure himself of his affliction, but he seems to find time to help others who are having problems of their own.
Eric did that too. Yeah, at the end of the movie. Okay, point taken.
I just couldn't get invested in Eric's performance as he was just so depressing to watch. But I will grant him this, that wasn't his fault. That's just down to Ang Lee's directing.
What about General Ross?
Now, this is where this casting choice shines. Sam Elliott's portrayal is convincing, competent, take no crap attitude, and just wants there to be a resolution. The William Hurt performance I found to be very weak and just lacking any conviction. Also, he comes across as a greedy, money-grabbing douchebag who just sees the Hulk as a cash cow that he can use for the military.
So they swapped Talbot with Ross on this occasion in the profit department? Pretty much.
And then you get the villains in Nick Nolte's David Banner and Tim Roth's Emil Blonsky.
So they got Nolte's character name from the same name of the Bixby show? Yes. That's a very respectful reference. Indeed.
When an actor is enjoying their role, it does show in their performance, but I got the sense that Nolte was enjoying his role a little too much, with the way he seemed to pour energy into these darker scenes.
And as for Betty, I'm sending her a surprise visit from some four-legged friends of mine. You see, I've managed to culture some of your very own DNA, Bruce.
Yeah, I will admit that was kind of messed up.
And then you get Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky as a British Royal Marine born in Russia that was brought in as a special gun for Ross. And a very convenient way for him not to change his accent. I suppose it is. Roth had said that he wanted to do a role like this for his kids so that he can be cool when picking them up from school. And what I found with Roth is that he acted like a soldier at the end of his career. He still had the fire and passion to keep going, but his body completely disagreed. You do see a change in Blonsky in really getting lost in the change that he was going through with the serum that had been developed in trying to replicate the super soldier serum. And he starts becoming a monster in mind as well as appearance when he becomes the Abomination.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that kind of creeped me out. Well then, job done. So, this round is a tie? I'm happy with that.
Special effects are equal in both, but I think the visual effects do a better job with the 2003 movie.
Ooh, you're actually going to praise the retro version? Don't get used to it.
Despite some color glitches with the Hulk himself, the 2003 Hulk is a lot more photorealistic as opposed to his 2008 counterpart that looks scarcely better than an Xbox 360 character.
Dude, what's an Xbox 360? The successor to the Xbox. But you won't get that for a few years. Oh, what? It took them 359 attempts just to make one good Xbox?
Anyway, while the 2008 Hulk was used more positively and had more action scenes, the 2003 Hulk was more believable in terms of how it reacted with light, shadow, and just how it moved. Plus, I think it was a clever notion that Bruce merely sweated the change off when he reverted back to his human form.
Yeah, I have to admit, scientifically that did seem to make a lot more sense. This round goes to the Hulk. To Danny Elfman. The Incredible Hulk wins.
While 2003 had its good merit, it was bogged down with too many negative aspects that just made it a very depressing big screen debut for the character. Like I mentioned earlier, the pacing was too slow to get going and only seemed to step up whenever Bruce had a mood swing, and was just an unredeemable viewing experience all round. Yet had good casting choices aside from the leading male. True, but the supporting cast members should be making the title role look better, not themselves.
There is that.
2008 was a much better movie experience with a better actor for the leading male role, faster, competent script and pacing that seemed to mirror the Bixby years of a man on the run looking for a resolution to his problems.
Yet, as you mentioned earlier, the supporting cast of that let the movie down a few numbers.
True, Liv Tyler was flatter than a ripped tire, and William Hurt seemed to be more depressing to watch than a rerun of 1997's Batman and Robin. But the pacing and action of the movie was more than enough to make up for those minuses that left you feeling like you got your money's worth, and then some, when leaving the theatre or finishing the DVD.
So, 2008 wins? Yes, it does.